Yes, keeping our promise of coming your way again every Tuesday is a delight for me. I'm glad to be here again another Tuesday. And I'm very delighted to know that you have tuned in to join us on our conversation throughout this program and even the rest of the program at this station. My name is Grace Hussein, welcoming you to Heartbeat and Middle Pages at that. Today is a very great day, and I hope it's not raining where you are because it's very sunny over here. Yes, there wouldn't have been any better day to be here than today, being that nationally, Nigeria, people who are practicing as public relations officer or expert, they are celebrating today nationally. You know that every 16th of July, public relations people roll out their drums and they celebrate on that is they celebrate globally. And this day we are going to do it together here, and I have with me to discuss the issue that is very, very important to us as members of NIPR. And that issue is driving sustainable perception management through AI. And I know that it will be a good place to start from. That is the celebration of National Public Relations Week. Yes, I have with me in the house Elder Manasseh Umoite, who is a chairman NIPR Akwa Ibom State. He is a public relations officer and head of protocol, Federal Polytechnic, Okana. He is a journalist. I'm delighted to have him with me here in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Also with him this morning is Mr. Darlington Udobong, who is the Vice Chairman, NIPR Akwa Ibom State Chapter. He is a managing editor, Ibom Telegraph newspaper. I'm glad to have you here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, yes, today we want to take a look at the theme of your AGM, which is coming up in few days, and that theme is driving sustainable perception management through artificial intelligence. But before we go to that, let's take a look at what public relations is all about and why we are celebrating. I think it started well over, it's almost a month now.
Yes.
Yes, so let's have you fill us in.
Yeah, thank you very much. Public relations is that art and science also of managing reputations in such a way that it creates mutually beneficial relationships between the organization and the publics. It simply means that the process where you transact your business in such a way that what you are doing and the way you are doing it is of mutual benefit to you as an organization and to those who you are doing business with. So that's the major focus of public relations. For the past 1 month, we've been celebrating the Diamond Jubilee of NIPR in Nigeria. This year, for the past 60 years plus, we've been existing and practicing in Nigeria, and it could interest you to know that the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is the sole regulator of public relations practice in Nigeria. So by that token, it means that for you to practice as a public relations person in Nigeria, you must be certificated by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Anything short of that, it means you are running in foul of the law, because it is a position of the law. It is a legal thing. So for 60 years, we've added value to Nigeria, we've added value to the economy, we've added value to the environment we find ourselves. Public relations is the way to go.
So nationally today, the VC, let's hear you talk about the national celebration. Why is it happening today instead of July 16 that it was supposed to have been?
Well, that is just a choice of the national to commemorate that event. with today's date. Just like here in Akwa Ibom, we have also chosen to commemorate that same event during this year's annual general meeting of the state. So it's just a choice of the nation now.
Okay, yes, today we say we want to look at the theme. When I look at the theme of this year's AGMs, the lecture, I got I said, maybe I should say I fell in love with it. So since we all know that AI or artificial intelligence is gaining grounds on almost all facets of life, and I think anybody who is not joining it, who is not joining the trends, I think is making a mistake, and I know that can cost one so much. So we decided to key into it to have a feel of this theme, what it is all about. I'd like you to start with the concept of this theme. What does driving sustainable perception management through AI really? What's the concept about it?
Okay, it is, if we understand what perception management is, then we will have a clearer picture of what we are talking about. You see, public relations is about image, management of image, and perception gives birth to image, because the image you have is a function of how people perceive you, your actions and the things you do. So now your ability to manage the way people perceive you will also go a long way to shaping the kind of image you have, because the image you have is a function of the perception of the people. Now, what is perception management? It's just a strategic communication process that involves shaping how people perceive certain messages, certain actions, the things you do. Because once you understand how to shape the way your audience perceive the messages you send out, then certainly you will be able to manage image. And now today, just like you noted, AI, artificial intelligence, has come to be, and it has affected every facet of human endeavor. Public relations is not an exception. So in Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in Akwa Ibom State, every year we try to put up a program, a lecture series in honor of our pathfinder, late O.W. Udo, who was the pioneer chairman of NIPR in Akwa Ibom State, a national player as far as public relations is concerned. And this year is going to be the 10th of the series of these lectures. And we decided every year, let's look at new trends coming in, and in a way to stimulate the intellectual consciousness of our members, expose them to the new things coming, new trends, new developments around the profession. So we are looking at how we can manage perception management through artificial intelligence. Because we've been doing it the other way, using the human element or the natural intelligence. So with the coming of AI, this lecture will expose practitioners how artificial intelligence can help you to sustain, to manage perception, either of you or your organization or a brand. Because it goes beyond individual, even brands, because you have a good idea. You want to sell to people, but if you don't manage it very well, you tell them this is what you want to do, but they interpret it differently. At that point, your intention may be misinterpreted, and because of that, the way they will react will be different. So now you discover that you need to manage how these people perceive these messages. So it comes to strategic communication, how you craft your messages, how you want them to receive the messages, and how you want them to respond after receiving the messages. So now with the AI coming in, is helping you to drive this process. How do you tell all your messages? How do people receive it? How do they react after receiving it? Because that is what will ultimately gets to the image we are talking about of either the organization or the brand.
Okay. In taking this theme, let me come to you, Mr. Dogon. What benefit is it going to be to the practitioners and even other people? He has mentioned brands and even individuals. Let's link it up, the AI and the public relations practitioners. Let's link it.
Oh, thank you very much. We are currently in an era where computers, let me use the word computers, artificial intelligence is threatening jobs of practitioners. As a public relation practitioner, the element AI has come to take your own job, your own food from you. So what informs us about the team is to teach and tell the public, the practitioners, how you can use artificial intelligence to leverage on the practice of your work so that you don't easily get replaced or displaced by the element called artificial intelligence. There will be discussions on that. We'll have discussions to tell us how AI, how a practitioner in the government sector can leverage on artificial intelligence to harness his or her job in the government sector. There will be a discussion from the humanitarian angle to also talk about how he or she can leverage on the element called AI to make his or her job beneficial to himself and to the public. There will also be discussions from the academic angle of it. So there will be a lot of it. There's so much benefit for practitioners to gain from the lecture, and AI has come to stay. As practitioners, we must do everything to live up to that pace.
Okay, before we move on, I know you have something to say because as a chairman of this chapter, I know that you must have really taken a good look at this thing. And so I would like you to just key us in some more about the choice of this theme. I really want us to understand more. I know that people will come for the lectures and they will gain more knowledge. But if you are to sell it to somebody who have not even heard about it and is to come for this, what should the person expect? So let's just hear.
Yes, you see, beyond the practitioners of our public relations, I'm talking about the professionals now. You see, the truth is that virtually everyone practices public relations. Sometimes even governments get involved in public relations, whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Now, the point about it is that if you are practicing public relations intentionally and you are conscious of what you are doing, it means it is deliberate. Then the result will be positive. But if you are practicing public relations unconsciously and then you are not even aware of what you are doing, then the result is what you can also predict. Now, every organization, every individual is practicing public relations. What we are putting on the table is such that will benefit the professionals and even others in their private and public life. I'll give you an instance. When we talk about perception management, it's a very serious issue that many people don't pay attention to, and it affects them. Sometimes they don't even know. Even our Lord Jesus Christ was a good perception manager. You see, the moment Jesus turned back and asked the disciple, "Who do people say I am?" That was perception management. He needed to do a research to find out, who do people say I am? And when they tried to give him various answers, you discover that most of what they say you are Elijah, they say you are this. Most of those things were not correct. Meaning, even Jesus, as you are working with them, doing all these things, many people, including those working with you, did not know who you are. So, based on what they felt you were, that's how they perceive, of course, about you. So now when Jesus said, okay, that's for them. For you that have been working with me, Who do you say I am? It took somebody to say you are Jesus, the Son of the living God. He said, yeah. You see, now Jesus was conscious about his image, so I say he was a good PR person. And now you discover that you have good policies, even as a government, that you want to put up to the public for their good. If you don't manage the perception of the people very well, chances are that you will put up these good ideas, these good programs, and the people interpret it differently. So that is why I said your ability to manage perception well will give you an edge. Because if you understand their thought pattern, if you understand, okay, for instance, you know, I'm from a local environment where what you say, what you call things matters more than the real thing. For instance, in my place, pawpaw, the fruit called pawpaw, is locally called udiadi. Udiadi. Now, if you say, ask somebody, will you ayadi udiadi? He may say no, because he already. But if you say, pawpaw, ayabo inodo. Understand? So now, you see the perception of the people. So if you understand how they reason, then you can craft your message.
So you have to communicate in a way that the person will understand.
Yes, that's where we are calling it strategic communication. You are strategic. You are communicating it in a way they will understand. Otherwise, you had the intention of giving him fruit, but he rejected it because of the name you call the fruit.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he has need for that fruit too. But because of how you presented it, he said, no, I don't need it. So now, this program, we cannot live in self-denial. Artificial intelligence is running affecting every facet of human endeavor. In public relations, if you don't employ it, then you will discover that you are left behind. You are left behind. So we are bringing experts to the platform to educate the public
and equip your people
for the job before them, because most of them don't know how to employ AI in this perception management. But artificial intelligence will tell you how better to do it, how you can measure it to know if it is effective, and then it exposes you, it helps you to do your job better. Because at the end of the day, what do you seek to achieve as a public relations person? A favorable image to your organization in such a way that whatever gains will be mutually beneficial to your organization and the publics. When we talk about publics in public relations, you see, we emphasize publics. It's not publics. It means we have internal publics and we have external publics. If you take a university, for instance, the staff of that university form the internal publics of the university. The students of that university, they are part of the internal publics of that university. But you discover that that university will need to liaise with other organizations outside of the university environment. So those are the external publics. What about the Federal Ministry of Education? What about the National Universities Commission? What about TEFON? What about other agencies? So those are the external publics. What about contractors, people who are doing business with the university, but they are not part of the publics? So you discover. So now, your ability to manage these publics well, in terms of how they perceive your messages, how they interpret your actions, how they receive what you do, is going to be a plus to you. Because if you have good intentions but it is perceived negatively, that good intention obviously is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because when people say, why are they doing this? They say, okay, maybe it's for this. They didn't have the right information. So even the gifts you give could be rejected because people perceive it negatively or wrongly.
Okay. In Akwa Ibom, as a public relations practitioner, I believe that there are numerous challenges we face managing the people, managing information, just like you have said. Can we elaborate some of them? What are the things that we are faced with that maybe has informed some of these actions, to look at even this thing of managing information well?
Yes, you see, for instance, there are so many programs of government. When you look at the content of those programs, you discover that government meant very well for the people, and they came up with those programs. Oftentimes, the beneficiaries of those programs don't get to understand that these programs are designed for their good. And because they don't get to understand that it is for them, they feel
which is perception.
This is the perception we are talking about. Okay. And because the messages is not strategically communicated to them, most times they reject it. Most times they work against it. Most times the implementation fails, because when you don't have the support, the buy-in of the people that you are trying to, it's just like trying to rescue somebody who is about being drowned. And then if the person is not even willing and ready to, you discover that even you that went there to save could have issues. So now you discover that in the Akwa Ibom State, government has programs, very good ones, but do the people understand this program the way government understand it? Government, you've reeled out programs. Do people perceive it as something that will add value to them? Now, you say you want to, and you see, when we talk about strategic communications, it means that to a large extent, communicate with them, let them know, because if they know, they can say, no, don't give us street lights, rather give us water. I'm talking about the community now. That's strategic communication. It means you've gotten them involved. They understand. You also understand them. But if you think that's what they need, go and give them. Sometimes they may not. I have seen many projects commission, but it's not put to use because that's not the priority of the people. So at that point, you discover that there was something wrong between those who envisioned the program, those who implemented, and those who were supposed to be beneficiaries of such programs. So such programs issues abound. So we are telling government, you need to be, and you see, in government today, you see most times circulars go out, sometimes press releases sent to the public on issues, but who goes through communication audit? Do the government, managers of such information, find out how do these people receive or perceive these press releases, this information you've been pushing to them every now and then? How do they receive it? Because I was living with my grandmother. Most times, when she hears things from the radio, she will say, Koko radio. She doesn't even believe those things. Radio, Monday, you will say, young. You see, that there is a gap there. So these things are for them. But if you don't communicate it, if you don't convince them to understand that this is for their good and you don't have their support, that's why you see government, they put street light. Before you know, it is vandalized. Those who vandalize those things, if the community took ownership of those things, it becomes everybody's thing. It's not government thing.
Okay, I will still come back to you to also answer this particular question. Yes, Mr. Dobong, to what extent has the government engaged the services of NIPR in this state? Would you be able to tell us anything like that?
Well, I could just push a little what I know. The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations has been deliberate, and in fact, recently, one of the many successes of the present administration is the categorization of information officers to the rank of public relation officer. It is now a must, just like my chairman said, the managers of government information. It is a must now that before you are an information officer, you must be a public relation, certified public relation practitioner. And in fact, government, civil service have moved a little bit higher that before, by creating the unit called public relation unit where the occupant must be a certified public relation officer before you are. That
Meaning
is,
they are well equipped, they are trained for that.
Yes, yes. And that will also help government to be deliberate in terms of information they are pushing out, being manned by professionals, which was never there before. And it also help to close some of this gap, like he rightly pointed out. If you are going to a community to drill borehole, and without, first of all, maybe getting to do the needs analysis of that locality to know if it is borehole that they really need or if it is street light, and if that is done behind the scene using the practitioners who will be able to do those analysis and come out, if at the end their effort or their this thing is consulted, you find out that when government eventually push the project to the community, it will be well appreciated because the gap is closed or was closed even before it was.
Okay, as a chairman.
To add to that,
Okay.
you see, in Akwa Ibom State, I have taken time to go through the Arise agenda of His Excellency the Governor. For me, that is a fantastic program for Akwa Ibom people. But I discovered that public relations obviously will help market the Arise agenda of the governor. You see, the governor is PR conscious. You see, when he said one project per local government, I saw that as one action that was in the very right direction, meaning that it is the local people that will say this is what we need in our environment. It's not now, it's different from government saying, okay, I will do this for this local government, do this for this one. The people are the ones choosing, the prioritizing the projects they need. For me, this is a plus. Now, but where I have issues is that this should be intentional. The government should be able to measure the successes of this at the end of it. And that's where public relations comes in, communication audit. Now, how do we measure the success of this project when it is completed? There is a gap there. Coming to how Akwa Ibom State government has leveraged public relations, they have, but I wish they could do more. I will give you an instance. A situation where the governor has 50 media aides, 50 aides on media, yet none is appointed, no aide on public relations. Then it speaks to something. Something is missing. So I'm using this opportunity to draw the attention of His Excellency the Governor. You are having 50 aides on media. You need aides on public relations, because these are the people who will tell you, do the communication audit to tell you the effectiveness or otherwise of all these communication we've been pushing out to the people. At that point, you know if those communications are actually effective. If it is not, you adjust it and say, okay, this was a problem, then can we do it this way? So there is need for the governor to create a desk for public relations. Though most of these 50 media aides, most of them are our members, they are qualified. But you see the problem, because the argument of some people in government is that most of those media aides are your members, they belong to the Nigerian Institute of Public. That's very correct. But you see, their mandate is different. You are calling them media aides, so they will work according to their mandate. We need an SA, an aid on public relations, so that those missing link could be brought to bear, and the interpretation, the implementation of the Arise agenda will have the optimum benefit to the people, because that's the aim of government.
I'd like to come in here. Mr. Dobong talked about the fact that in some ministries or parastatals, we have public relations, maybe cadre. It is now established. They now have those places or positions in the civil service. And you as a chairman, what are you doing? Because it's one thing to establish those things or those positions. It's another to even see result. Like you have said, I may be a public relations practitioner, but I'm not practicing it. my information is like, maybe I'm the media person, I'm just conscious
Yes,
of certain
yes.
things. What are you doing to ensure that these people are able to manage the image that they are supposed to manage? Information comes out, they are able to know what to say, how to help the public understand it better. What are you doing with your members who are already in those
Thank you.
positions?
Thank you very much. You see, that is why we exist, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Every month, we have our monthly meetings. In most of these monthly meetings, we have what we call PR clinic. It's like a hospital, it's like a clinic. We look for an ailment and then we bring in experts to tell you how to cure this particular one. So we have trainings every other time for our members so that they can be able to cope with the challenges of their offices. Now, what we have now, by virtue of the categorization, which is a national thing, you no longer have information officers in the civil service all over the country now. What you have is information and public relations officers. Now, before now, these people were functioning as mere information officer. You just carry information, push it to the public. That's what government wants you to hear. But as public relations officer, it goes beyond taking information and pushing it to the public. You must analyze the information, fine-tune it in such a way that people will understand what you want them to understand and act the way you expect them to act. So now you discover that there is an addition to that. So they are being trained, and this lecture series is just one of such an opportunity for these people to come and learn how they can leverage AI in the discharge of their responsibility. Because at that point, as information and public relations officer of a government, you are a perception manager. You manage the image of government at that level. So it means you must be trained to also incorporate the public relations component of your job.
Okay, now let's move a little away from there. You in Akwa Ibom State, past and even present governments have, or administrations have come up with projects and policies that oftentimes, I should say, some of them have met with negative criticisms or negative outcomes. Example of them could be the worship center, when it was proposed, and then the intelligent house. Presently, I think there is this particular one of the proposed remodeling of Governor's Lodge at Lagos. And I want to ask, what is the place of a public relation practitioner or the place of NIPR, Akwa Ibom State Chapter? What can we do in situations like this? Is there anything that could be done?
You see, just NIPR is a professional body, and we also run consultancy for corporate organizations, for governments, and for people who seek our professional advice. It boils down to what we've been saying. Most of the time, you could have very good ideas, but because it is not well communicated to the people ahead of time, because things you understand and you know why it is done, and it is told in very clear terms why and what you stand to benefit by doing this, certainly you won't oppose that, except you are just the type that will just want to be opposition. Now, so we are open for consultancy. We are open to render advice. But you see, we can only come in when we are asked for our opinion, our advice. We are ready, we are available. But I can tell you that most of the problems we are having is because information getting out is not strategic enough to have the kind of effect that was intended. So we need public relations even in governance. We need it so very much, because a public relations person will go beyond the message, the normal message that is going out. You will know that this message must be fine-tuned in such a way that the people will understand it and then embrace it. Now, where the people have issues with this message, certainly it's not every message you push out that people will accept. That's a fact. But where they have disagreement, you should do a research. Public relations revolves around research. You start with research, ends with research. Yes. So find out why are they saying they should not be done. When you understand their reasons, then you can tailor your message back again. You can refresh your message. And then, just like I was telling you, a young girl was selling egg at a market in Ikoregbene, and he was saying, dem senunen. For almost 30 minutes, nobody called the lady to come and buy anything. Another experienced one said, come, what are you saying? He said senunen. He said, no, don't call in senunen. Go now, tell them to buy nkwaunen. And now when she started saying, hey, hey, Bendy, come, will you buy? Now, you wonder, what's the difference between Nsenunen and Kwaunen? It's one thing, the egg. But you see, you must understand
so
the message. So they are attached to this one. So it's not about what is said, but how it is said. So we must have experts there who will be able to communicate messages in such a way that the people will understand it and embrace it. That is the essence of government communication. So, and that is where public relations comes in, because we involve in not just communication but strategic communication.
Mr. Dobon, how else can public relations help the state to move forward in this kind of situation you're talking about?
Well, like my chairman has rightly said, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, particularly Akwa Ibom State, is open for such if we are asked to. But like he has also given an analysis, most government messages are always too quick to get to the intended public, and most of the time the feedback will always be what we have seen. So practitioners, professionals will not just push a message out just for pushing it, for pushing sake, just because we want that message to get to the public. Such message should be analyzed. Proper feedback should also be analyzed before the eventual pushing out of such message. And if that is done, we won't get the kind of criticism, response, and all that we get from the public. But most times, government handlers, government message or information handlers are always too quick to get the message to the would-be public, who will in turn either resist or oppose to such message. So it is left for government to think if they want to employ the hands of professionals to help handle such situation. Like the chairman has said, NIPR is open to such if we are asked to.
Okay.
So we want to go more.
Okay, so right, you're talking about sustainable perception management through AI. And when you talk about sustainability, what are you even leveraging on? Let's go back there.
You see, just like we said, a strategic communicator is not just interested in communicating, passing messages, informations around. He is strategic in what he is doing. And so when we talk about image, it is not something that should be fluctuating. Today is this way, tomorrow is this way. So it must be stable. It must be something that has its position. So when we talk about sustainable perception management, we are talking about the process of managing this perception, the way they get this information. We shape the way they receive it and they react to it.
And we stabilize it.
Stabilize it and sustains them, that tempo. So you see, you discover that by the time people know that you are consistent, and you go here, they say, no, Grace is consistent. You see that your image is sustained by that consistency. Now, by the time this one says, no, she is consistent, the other one says, no, she's not. Oh, look at what she did there. You see, whatever is said about you cannot be consistent, because this one is having a different picture. This one is, but we are talking about how to sustain perception management. So it's not one thing, something you do today, tomorrow you are not doing it again. And you have the result today, tomorrow a negative result is coming. So you have to be sustaining whatever you are doing. So if you are doing, you see, public relations is built around good deeds, you must be very intentional, and you must sustain those good things you do, because those are the things that people know you for.
So quickly talk about your expectations after the conference, maybe after this lecture. What are your expectations?
Yeah, my expectation after the lecture is that public relations practitioners will have a better idea of how to employ artificial intelligence in their professional practice. 2, it will help to erase the fear that artificial intelligence is coming to replace their job. Because many people are scared that their jobs are threatened because of the emergence of artificial intelligence. A professor shared a story with me that artificial intelligence was asked a question: are you coming to take our jobs? And the AI responded, how can I come to take the job of the man who created me? AI is a creation of human beings. So you see, at the end of this training, professionals will get to understand that AI is not a threat, but we need to embrace it, use it to our advantage. It helps us do our jobs better, far better.
We must know the promptings.
Yes, and again, we must also understand that if we don't use it well, it can also be it can backfire. It can bring the counterproductive. So that's the danger. So we must use it, and use it well. If we don't use it the right way, it could also bring serious problems. So I am expecting that at the end of this training, these workshops, this lecture, it will expose us. It will stimulate our intellectual consciousness as to how artificial intelligence can help us manage perception in a way that is sustainable.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dogo, any follow-up expectation maybe for members after this?
Yes, talking about sustainability,
yes.
Just to add to that, the state chapter of NIPL has been sustainable in keeping to this lecture, the OW Udo Memorial Lecture. This is the 10th edition, like the chairman has said, and that is sustainability. We've been able to keep pace with that. And in terms of gain, members will gain a lot, because when you talk about AI, it's just a computer system, garbage in, garbage out. Now, if I ask my AI app to tell me about how to get to a car road,
there must have been those information.
Yes,
there.
without properly giving the AI the right information that I need, and the result will also be what I key in. If I tell AI Akwa Ibom is a state in the south of Nigeria, how big is Akwa Ibom? AI will just give me a response based on what I've asked. So it will be good for members to come out to know how to leverage on AI.
Okay.
It will help in our work.
Thank you, Mr. Darlington Udobong, the Vice Chairman, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Akwa Ibom State Chapter, and thank you. You have something to say, please, quickly, because
yes, I want to tell Akwa Ibom people that the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is the pillar of public relations practice in Nigeria. By next year, we will be hosting.
You come to pay for that. No,
I'm just giving information.
Thank you. You will host it. By then, we will bring you on to talk about that event. Now,
it's okay.
Let's just enjoy the atmosphere of celebration.
All right.
And I know that the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations have everything and every right to celebrate today and beyond. And we look forward to enjoying these lectures. Come the day, I'm careful not to mention the day because I don't want. Thank you so much. We hope to have you back. I want to believe that in due course you will have a place, have an airtime where maybe you can be educating the public on policies, on projects, on things that will help to better the state. We hope you won't just sit on the fence and maybe just wait until the government consults you. I believe you can do something before then. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us. We are glad and we hope to have you back. And friend, this is where we end it for this segment. But don't go anywhere because that beat is not about to end now. My name is Grace Hussein. Do have a lovely Tuesday. Carol will be on the next beat.
This is our home, where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's on my man and you know. We go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we be. It's on my man and you know. No matter where we be, we are one. Let's live together in peace and harmony.
Everything you go through in life is preparing you for your next assignment. My father was a police officer, so I lived in the barracks. A barracks like a mini in Nigeria, you know, you find everybody there. My dad's salary, of course, couldn't meet the family income, so I had to sell soft drinks for my mother so that we can make up the family income. I used to take soft drinks from our home and I'll go to the airport and sell. It was fun. I didn't know I was going to ever get into hotel business. So eventually, my coke hawking helped me later in life when I started running my hotel. Those little things you did became building blocks for my later days in life. And you know what? My house was built on the same street I used to go through to hawk. And so everybody that saw me hawk these soft drinks for my mother, when I bought a land there and built my house, all of those people were still alive. It's like, some of them had to breed their children. Look at me mentor these kids. Today, when I drive around the streets, sometimes you find people sell and you stop by. I just remember, it used to be like this. That hawking has helped me today to be able to serve the people. Accept the things you can't change and change the things you can, and ensure that you just have the fear of God in you. I think the only person that can stop you from achieving what God has set out for you is you.
Akwa Ibom is rising.
I just want your papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And more than never even return.
Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja from my hand.
Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
Happen.
With good laws,
Proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation.
If it happen.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Digital Corner on the Heartbeat. My name is Praise Okoye, and this morning we are going to be looking at maximizing social media platforms. Maximizing social media platforms. Today, you can bear me witness that everybody, almost every and anybody, is on social media doing one or two things. Some are struggling to be seen. Some have been seen already. Some are trying to sell their businesses, sell their services, and a lot are selling already. Some have learned how to, some have not learned how to. So this morning, I'm going to be sharing with us on how to maximize your social media platform. Right. So when I talk about maximizing social media platform, it simply implies leveraging the potentials, right, of social media platform to amplify or to achieve your aims and objective. For someone that is probably going on social media to do one thing or the other, they have an objective. Some people are going there to sell. Some people are going there to probably enhance their brand. Some people are going there to show what they have, showcase their talent, and what have you. Right? So maximizing that particular platform starts from understanding what are the tools available, right? What are the tools available for you on social media, and leveraging them to enhance both your presence, both your engagement, and both your impact on social media, right? And we're going to be looking at a few of steps, a few key aspects of maximizing social media platform. Number one we are going to be looking at is optimizing your profile. I see a lot of people when sometimes I scroll through social media, Facebook, Instagram, and the rest of that. I see a few persons, when you go to their profile, what they are showing you there, it's some of them, even though they have some things to offer or some things to sell, but their page is not really giving 100, because the way people address in real life anyways is the way they are addressed. So everybody wants to deal with someone they perceive as professional, someone they perceive as this person is in for business, not really someone they feel like, look at it as casual and stuff like that. So number one thing you need to do is to optimize your social media platform. How? Number one is to update your profile with engaging and descriptive bio, professional bio. Now when I come to your page, probably you're selling something, or probably you're doing content, or probably a comedian, singer, anything you are doing. When I come to your page, that bio is the first thing I will see. If you sound unserious on your bio, I will take you as unserious. I'll pass. Probably you're selling something. You might have what I want to buy, but if your bio is not descriptive enough, if it's not telling me what you are all about, if it's a person, tell what you're all about on Facebook, on Instagram, on social media. Be able to describe it specifically for people, and also probably can also add a tagline underneath of how you can meet their needs. Okay, then another thing you need to do on social media under this optimizing your profile is, next one is using high quality visuals. This one can never be overemphasized. Now most times when I scroll through people's profile, what attracts me first of all, or what attracts you that is watching me today, what attracts you most is the pictures. First of all, the pictures has a way of attracting you to a person's page. Okay, and if the picture is dull, you might not necessarily want to even go into the page and see whatever the person is offering. It's just like in the news right now, what goes viral is not necessarily content inside, is the headline. So if you don't have a good headline, same way if you don't have a good picture and a good bio, you can't get people's attention. Because on the social media space, attention is money, and everybody is contending for it. For you to get people's attention, you need to stand out in that regard. So you need to use quality pictures. If you need to probably go to studio, take one, look professional in it, wear good clothes in it. So when I see you, I perceive you as professional. I perceive you as someone that is serious for business. Not when I see something that is probably not really clear, very blurry, and not really descriptive. Also on your pages, because most times on some social media platform you have what we call personal profile and business account. So on your pages, on your business, you can use your logo as your profile picture, and also your cover photo. You can use probably a few things. You say get professional graphic designers to run that for you. Then the next thing, key aspect you need to consider if you want to maximize your social media platform is content strategy. Very important. Very important. Content strategy. One of the things that actually kills or reduce people's engagement online is inconsistency, and one way to sort that inconsistency is first of all coming up with a content calendar. Under this content strategy, the first thing you need to do is to come up with a content calendar. Content calendar helps you to be consistent with posting, giving your audience, keep pushing out content there. You did the content calendar. You can make the one for probably, let's say, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. If you don't know how to make it, there are guidelines that can also help you, professionals that can help you do that. But what you do on that content calendar is very simple. You put out the dates, you put out the content, you put out the content type, the caption, all those things, put it out. So on Monday, this is what I'm posting and this is where I'm putting it. All right. Then Tuesday, this is what I'm posting, this is where I'm putting it. Wednesday, the same thing. The list goes on and on and on. So if you wake up on Monday morning, you are not trying to struggle to go get content. You have a content already, because you've taken, probably, let's say you took 1 week to design a 1 month content calendar. It took 1 week to do that job. So when you wake up on Monday, you are not struggling. You're not struggling of what to post. And also another important thing is the timing when you post what you post. In the morning, people are very active. In the evening, people are very active. The best time to post in the morning is within 6 and 8 o'clock. The best time to post in the evening is within 6 and 9 o'clock. That is the time where people are most active. It's just like currently right now in the States, there are different market days, right? Different market times. Now, there is a time that when you go to the market, you see major traffic of people, major number of people. Anybody that takes whatever he or she is selling to the market at that particular point in time is bound to make much sale. Unlike someone that probably, let's say, a person decides to take whatever he's selling to the market in the afternoon. You see that the sales you make compared to people that go in the morning will be less. All right. The same thing applies to social media. Whatever you are putting out there, you are putting it out for people to see it. And with your content calendar, you need a time. A time is also part of the things on the content calendar. Sometimes when I teach some students social media management, content calendar is one of the important things that take time to detail for them. So have a content calendar. It helps you maintain consistency. And also on some platforms, you can schedule your posts. All right, schedule your posts. It works very well, like things like Meta. You can schedule your posts. You know that probably you might be busy in the next morning by 7 o'clock. There's an option for you to go there, put your post, schedule it. So by the time you wake up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you are not struggling to get content. You are not struggling to get content. There are also some avenues you can explore to get headlines or content that resonate with your target audience. Because if you are in business, if you are probably you render services or you're a brand, you need kind of content that can resonate with people, content that can resonate with your particular target audience. That is very, 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 very important. All right, so you have a content calendar. That is very, very, very important. The other thing you do under that content strategy is have a mix of content. You can try out pictures, you can use videos, you can use texts. You try them out. Then in the midst of trying these things out, you find out the one that gets more engagement for you. On social media pages, there are people that only do pictures and text. They rarely use video. And also on that social media space, there are people that use more of video because the kind of content they are creating goes more. The kind of content they are creating passes more with videos. You look at comedians, you look at singers, you look at some of people that even tell brand stories, use customer testimonials. Most of them use videos. While there are some that are selling probably just physical product, they might not necessarily use videos. They might use write-ups. Very, very, very important. Then another thing I would like to talk about is advertising. Is also a key aspect of maximizing social media platform. Advertising is a key aspect of maximizing social media platform. On Facebook, there is something we call campaigns, right? Campaigns. If organically you can reach out to, let's say, 10,000 persons in a week, you can do that with campaign in a day. That's how powerful it is. Because most time, for you to be able to maximize a space, you need to understand what are the tools available for you. You cannot maximize a space that you don't understand the tools available for you, right? And this is definitely going to be a series. There are still some other things on this key aspect of maximizing social media platforms, which we're going to continue next week, right? But let me finish up on the advertising. advertising is very, 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 very important and very key. It helps you to reach out to a large number of people, and not just reaching out to a large number of people. In advertising or on advertising, especially Facebook sponsored ads, which also can run across Instagram. Now, it gives you the opportunity to target directly the people you want using your demographics. Demographics involve both location, both age range, both economic status. If what you are selling are for people that are residing in, probably, let's say, Eket, or probably people that are residing in Osawama, or people that are residing in Ojuelegba, or people that are residing in Ikeja, Facebook advertising helps you to target those people directly. You are not shooting, you are not scattering your efforts. It concentrated on a targeted audience. Then also, not just that, you can also reach out to people that are interested in whatever you are selling, because your chances of making sales, your chances of improving that particular brand visibility will be achieved more when it's directed to a pool of people that can or might be or will be interested in whatever you are putting out. Very, very, very important. Another thing this advertising helps you to do or allows you to do is to also target people according to behavior. Now, this behavior can also be how people react to and what people react to on the internet. So let's say you are having an event, probably a trip or a tourism affair. This particular advertising allows you to target people that have either responded to that kind of advert, or have either purchased something like that, or has either taken an offer from that particular similar thing that you're doing. That is the thing that this advertising helps you to do. All right, so under this, you create a compelling ads. This is something that if you have not done it before, you might not necessarily know how to do that. Okay, you might not necessarily know how to do that. Most times when I take students on social media marketing management, rather, this is one of the things I also teach them: ads, how to design, how to create, how to execute, and also how to manage that. Right? Even currently, there are some people I work with. All right, what I do for them is to create, execute, and manage the advertisement, and we are getting huge results that if they have decided to do it organically, they might not have gotten to that particular spot that they are. All right, so as I wrap up on this session, I would like to say that your voice is your power in the digital space. All right, and social media has a lot to offer you. Social media has broken a lot of barrier between businesses and countries, between businesses and locations. Social media has broken that barrier, and it has made advertising, he has made reaching out to your target audience, he has made reaching out to anybody selling easier at even that budget, that particular budget that you have. So I will encourage you that is listening to me, jump on it, leverage on social media, try to sit down with it, look at it, and understand the several features you can benefit from. All right, so like I said again, your voice is your power on the social media space and the internet. Till I meet you next week, my name is Praise Okoye, and thank you for viewing.